Hello and welcome to Learn Linux Now. I am your host, Edward. The purpose of these sessions I plan to produce on YouTube and on my website is to introduce new users to Linux. However, I hope to introduce some information that even experienced Linux users will benefit from. But be aware, these sessions are not intended to teach you information used for Linux certification, but more of a launch pad towards potentially gaining Linux knowledge that will one day help you in your Linux certification studies, if you decide to go that route. I plan to record a session specifically on Linux certifications later in this series. For these Learn Linux Now sessions, I will try to make them as short as possible so that you can consume them in small bites. My hope is that you will learn Linux now and learn to love Linux because of it. Now, I don't claim to be an expert. I've been working with Linux for several years, both personally at home and professionally as a sysadmin, and I hold a few Linux certifications, but I can tell you that I am still learning Linux every day. So if I slip up on a topic, please remember that I am a flawed human being. The reason I decided to create these sessions is, first, I have a passion for Linux. I love learning and using Linux. Second, I have found in my career, specifically in recent years while working at NASA, is that I have found that there are those who know about Linux but don't necessarily know a lot about Linux and using it. Most of the time I point them to the Linux certifications and tell them that's a good starting point to learning Linux. However, in retrospect, I believe in a lot of those cases I gave them bad advice. I say that was bad advice because looking at some of the Linux certifications, it seemed that most of the institutes that create the Linux certifications assume you have some minor experience using Linux and will jump right into the deep end without truly starting at the most basic. And that's my opinion, of course. And that's why I decided to start this series, to start from the basics and gradually move up. Now that I've given you an introduction, I hope you will subscribe and stick with me on this adventure in learning about Linux. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel and also visit my website at learnlinuxnow.info. As I go through this series, I may post some more specific instructional information on my website. For now, please take care and be kind.